All right, we are live. Hey, Will, how's it going?
Good, good. Happy Wednesday.
It is Wednesday. How did we get to Wednesday so fast?
In the middle of February at that.
In the middle, happy Wednesday and happy Black History Month. How about that?
That part.
I mean, I don't know about how it feels for you when it comes to Black History Month, but I'll ask you that next, actually. So, Will, we've known each other for about a year or so or more. Why don't you tell my friends here at Check Your Privilege who you are and what you do in the world?
Absolutely. So, Will Rucker, and I just try to be. That's what I do in this world. Um, yeah, that's the best way I can sum it up. No, I work with Compassionate Las Vegas and the Charter for Compassion, which is a global organization, also in the healthcare space, advocating for health policies that are equitable. You and I met actually as part of my work with Compassionate Las Vegas. So
Mm-hmm.
every year we have a fellow of about, or a cohort of about 30 leaders. And 2023, we had an amazing young lady by the name of Lisa Flynn, who you
Mm-hmm.
met. And
Yeah.
then she introduced us to you, and you joined the cohort at the ninth hour, right? Very last minute.
Right.
Got through all of your work and came and really helped us to elevate our programming. And I was just so moved by who you are as a person. And of course, I was a stalker online with all the things you do and your books and like, yeah, just so yeah, all the things.
Oh, thanks, Will. Compassionate Las Vegas, I can say, was very transformative for me and my work. It added a new layer of depth when it comes to I talk a lot on this account about compassion and how we need to be more compassionate in equity work, inclusion work, liberation work, all of the words, right? I have so many. But I was really grateful to have met you and to have worked with you in that capacity. Um, so thank you for introducing yourself to our friends. And maybe for those who don't know, what exactly does Compassionate Las Vegas do?
So Las Vegas is a network which seeks to make Las Vegas a more compassionate place to live, learn, work, and play. And what
Mhm.
that means is showing up in our community in a way that isn't always comfortable, but our goal is to always move a conversation forward where people treat each other like people, where we show up with kindness and humility, where we meet
Mhm.
each other's needs, where we challenge each other to grow. And as you to use your word, to go deeper, have more depth. And we do that through really, again, networking and collaborating. We do have some partnerships, but that's not really our main focus. Our
Yeah,
main focus is building authentic relationships so that we can break down silos and people can know each other as people and then
yeah,
allow the work to flow from that.
absolutely. It's so interesting that you mentioned that practice. I know that's what attracted had Lisa come and get me involved. Is like just that idea of just getting off the internet and meeting people in local community to network with and to build relationships with. And, it was really awesome. I think here towards the last couple months, just learning about the circle of trust and how we can build those circles of trust to help us kind of keep our hearts open. Could you tell the folks a little bit about circle of trust?
Oh my gosh. So it's a transformative practice. Really, I came to know it through what they call Parker Palmer. And sorry, where I am, it's very, very loud, and I don't know why they have the music on like max, but hey, we're dealing with it. Um, so Parker Palmer wrote a great book about this, and the practice is really showing up for your soul, where it creates a space where it's safe for the soul to speak. And it's not
Mhm.
about fixing anyone or saving anyone. There are touch tones that explicitly forbid that, in fact. But it's about being present. So often,
Yeah.
a circle of trust is just people sitting together in silence, allowing that soul to feel safe and
Mhm.
to find space to be heard. Because in the day to day activities, the busyness, I'm a coach, so I do a lot of fixing. But in all of those spaces, it really is refreshing to find an
Yeah.
opportunity to just breathe and just be.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's so we're in such an overstimulated society, and I think it's really amazing to have a space where you could just sit and be witnessed, and there you don't have to talk or you can talk, but it's just been a really beautiful experience to have connecting and doing work offline and online. So thank you for that space. Um, at the top, I asked you a little bit about Black History Month. How does this Black History Month feel for you locally than it's felt maybe in the past?
It's feeling big. It's feeling important. It's feeling necessary. It's feeling like resistance.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's feeling like um, a culmination in a sense.
Yeah,
Um, I'm Black History every day. It's just,
facts.
you know, but this month with some of the intentional efforts to diminish the contributions of Black humans,
Mm-hmm.
it feels like we need to be having this conversation even louder than before, and doing so in a way where not only are we challenging the idea that Black history started with slavery,
Mm.
but also creating space within and for ourselves where we recognize we still have a lot of history to make.
Ooh, that's powerful. It's interesting that you said we still have a lot of history to make. A really good friend and colleague of mine, Dr. Yolanda Renee, she kicked off Black History Month with a challenge, like I am Black History. So every day she's sharing pieces of herself and her life because she's realizing she's that living history. And so I'm curious if you could think of something today that is your reference of living Black history. What is that? What is that?
Yeah. Uh, so I am working on my doctorate degree. I will
Wow.
be a doctor of public health. And I mean, there aren't too many of them. I host a radio show that is the number one public health show in the city of Las Vegas. That's historic. You know about my podcast, the Compassion Las Vegas podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Just the fact that we have a podcast hosted by a gay Black man talking about compassion in this city is
Yes.
historic. Um, I mean, just showing up day to day and still showing up with a smile, with joy, with hope in
Yeah.
these times, to me,
Yeah.
that's making history.
Absolutely. You're living history. Like I love that you very proudly said a Black gay man,
Yeah,
right? Like that's something that, my brother Jamal, he's here, his account is Let Me Educate You. He also has that same pride that no matter what you do and no matter what you say, nothing, no one or nothing is going to take away the fact that he is proud, Black, and gay.
100%.
And so I really appreciate you sharing that. Um, and speaking of joy, when was the last time you had some Black joy? What was that? What'd you do?
Yeah, I mean, this morning. And so today was one of our episodes for the film. We're talking about a block party we're sponsoring along with the health district.
Mm-hmm.
And we were sitting there, not in her role as a school board trustee, but we had a school board trustee as a guest. She was talking about her role as the executive director of an urban farm in the heart of Las Vegas. And we also had a health educator on who's talking about our heart health and making sure our blood pressure is checked and eating healthy foods, that sort of things. And we were sitting in there having a good time, laughing and just enjoying the presence
Wow.
of each other.
That's so dope. I think my last Black joy was this morning being able to go out to breakfast with my partner and just enjoy some one-on-one time together. I don't think that too many times. I don't think, and well, I'm in a new area now, Henderson. I don't see too many couples. Um, Often when we go out, so it's a joy to kind of take up space and be like, we belong, whether you believe it or not. We're here and laugh and talk. And it was very enjoyable. So it's kind of almost a similar
I
situation.
love that. Mhm. And you're right. Just thinking about the fact that you have someone to partner with,
Hmm.
that's big. Because not everybody has that privilege or makes the effort or does the work that's required to have that. So
Absolutely. And that's the one thing, like, it is work. We don't talk about like that work, that self work that we need in relationships. I think this last year and a half, like when I like started coming to Compassionate Las Vegas again, it was just like, oh, this is what it means to be human. Like there's like because I live my life. A lot of my work is online, and I do talks and work with companies, and it's online. And to feel the energy of people. and then to be challenged with in I want to say, well, to be in challenge with people, right? You can actually
Mm,
feel the energy, right?
yeah.
Like when I think of in challenge with people, I wanted to rephrase it because it's easy to say, well, to have drama with all these people, right? Like, oh, it's so dramatic. Actually, we were in challenge together because we came out on the other side. Um, it was a
Just want you to know I'm taking that phraseology from you in
please
challenge with people. Like,
listen.
I love that. Yeah.
Longest will you say Maisha T Hill, and you can even say from compassionate. You can even say the
I'll say
fella.
the first time. The first time.
Oh, you just gonna you just gonna take my. Let me just go to the United States Copyright Office.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I don't think we think about that too often. I think it was such a surreal experience to remember. Like, what does it mean to be human again? And what does it mean to be human with compassion? I personally believe just watching everything on the internet lately, like I mean, we were already divided, but the way the internet has been used as a machine for people to challenge each other, I think we forget that we're real people with real energy and real feelings, and it does take work to be in relationship together.
With that word, it brings me to the Super Bowl, which was a huge moment of Black joy.
Hmm.
Um, with that divided flag imagery, that just, I mean, wow,
Yep.
powerful. But I also think that, to kind of make it fairly literal, that was an illusion. I think the divisions are an illusion because whether we like it or not, we're inextricably linked. We can pretend like we don't need each other or that we don't breathe the same air and drink the same water and aren't made of the same stardust, but we are. And
Absolutely.
we can act as if, oh, I got so much money, I don't need the globe, but you do. Or, whatever the thing that you think separates you, it doesn't. We are absolutely connected no matter how much we maybe would prefer not to.
Absolutely. And that's the work of compassion. I think compassion is that central piece where we can see each other again. I think we've, in the last, I want to say, I have to say 13 years, I feel like we have as a society, I mean, technology has gotten faster, but our interactions have gotten shorter and they've gotten more transactional. I mean, how do you working in the health space, like how do you remind your team or your colleagues like you're there to kind of build relationships, right? To model equity in healthcare. Like how do you build those relationships?
So it's hard because the very system is designed in a way that does intentionally minimize those relationships and it does strip the humanity out of the healthcare process. Um, my husband is also in the field, so he's a nurse manager. And so while he doesn't do direct patient care, he's still very much responsible for the care that's happening. And in his capacity is more so the care of his staff, so his nurses, and reminding them they need to be compassionate and that they're dealing with people because the metrics drive things, the profit margin drives things. And so, unfortunately, the harsh reality is our system is not designed for humanity to survive. And we're seeing that. Um, what I try to do is take moments where I rebel. And so when I have a team meeting or really any opportunity I get, I say, let's start with some silence. Let's breathe together. And just taking that pause to say, oh my gosh, we can actually just, slow down for a second. And then when people experience that and are recognize there is actually an ROI from a productivity standpoint, then they're like, oh, maybe this whole connected thing isn't so bad. So I try to do small things and then just taking care of myself, I think is the number one thing I do. Um, I try to start every day with 20 minutes of silence, not
Okay.
meditation, not prayer. Those are all extra, but 20 minutes of just silence. So allowing myself to really be present in the moment with nothing pulling at me, nothing distracting, so that
Hmm.
I can start my day with intention. I'll then meditate, I'll then pray, I'll then work out and do all the things. But it's that sacred 20 minutes of silence. And I look at silence actually as a conversation partner. So if
Yeah.
I'm in a conversation with you and we pause,
Yeah.
that third person was speaking. So it's so enriching and so
Mm.
I require it now. Like, I don't know how to function without taking a pause now.
Wow, that's beautiful, Will. I love how you just said like you have to how you and your team how you'll rebel by making small moments, right? Because the system is actively working for us not to be humane. That was man, that was good. And how you take these small moments to let's breathe together. Let's start with silence. But to wake up and do 20 minutes of silence, I don't know. I think I'm going to try that one day and just see what it does. So, I mean, do you get up? Do you lay down? Like when you say your silence, how do you start?
It depends. So what I try to do, I'm really fortunate. I've been able to create kind of a sacred space in my home where it's around living plants, and I have two beautiful puppies that just bring me so much joy and comfort. So I try to go to that space and just sit. Sometimes that's not feasible, so I'll literally just lay in the bed and stay there still for 20 minutes. Um, Sometimes it has to be, oh, well, I didn't quite get to start the day first thing with silence. So I have to build that in. Like, maybe I'll just sit in my work parking lot for 20 minutes. So I make the space for it intentionally when it's, I guess what I'm trying to say is um, perfect is the enemy of done.
Yeah,
And so I get it done in whatever way I need to.
that's self care, though. You just said that.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you need to survive in the system. And the fact that you can just find time for just 20 minutes of quiet. Yeah, I'm like, ah, can I do this? And I'm like, it depends. If it's in the morning, I might fall back to sleep. So what works for me? Like I loved how you said the green. So I'm like, no, there's a lot of green here. I could probably just sit in this spot where I'm sitting right now and just enjoy that silence.
And I didn't start with 20 minutes. I started with 5.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks. I'm a little bit of an overachiever, so I would have
Yeah.
really chatted and like, hey, well, I got to 7.
Yeah. But what I found was the reward made the challenge worth it
Yeah.
because that's my gift to myself. And I love myself. I do. And so I'm gonna give myself a gift as often as I can. And that's my
Mm,
gift. So I love, I do get a massage. I do the pedi and manicure and all of that. All the quote unquote happening self care things. I love it. My
yeah.
bubble bath. I love a bubble bath. And I recognize that for me, the thing that
Hmm.
I need because I'm always active, I'm always talking, I'm always, giving or whatever it may be, is I need to take that moment for myself just to be with myself.
Absolutely. Like that is a critical for the moments and times that we're in right now. That is a critical reminder. I know a lot of people in activist and justice spaces, um, or like families or my like just the folks that I get to work with is always like, I don't have time to take care of myself. I don't have time. And the fact that you make that priority because you're so active is super important in this moment that we're in. You know, I think some people say it's unprecedented times. And I
Yeah,
believe the way you take care of yourself is revolutionary. Oh, they can turn the music up.
I'm telling you.
It's revolutionary because for you to know what you need for your maintenance, like, oh, I'll get my manicure, my pedicure, I'll get a facial massage, a bubble bath, but you know that silence is that critical piece of it, and you're going to do it by any means necessary. That's crucial. I think so many people struggle with that.
Yeah, and for the folks that do this, the type of work that we do, the resistance, the liberation work, you don't have time to not take care of yourself.
Mm, you don't have time to not take care of yourself. How did you learn? Like, what inspired you? What was the spark for you to like? I'm gonna take care of myself. I'm gonna be doing this. Like, what stood out for you?
You know, I would love to say I have this amazing, incredible story of, oh, I crashed and discovered that, I woke up in the hospital after 6 days and my body gave up and forced me to learn. No, it just was like I was introduced to the practice. I tried it out and I was like, this is better.
It's so simple. That's so simple. I love your personal story. Here's what happened, right? Um, my new favorite thing to do for self care is a nap.
Yeah. Oh,
They
yeah.
are just like, and again, we can talk about privilege of time and being home and access to the bed. So, but it is so great to I feel like my ancestors get to catch up when I just take a moment out of my day to lay down and go to sleep. And I've been really practicing listening, coming up, recovering so from long COVID. I have to listen to my body. I have to know when to stop.
And I will talk about COVID for a second because that changed everything. Um, COVID was hard for me, and I actually came down with it in January of 2020.
Hmm.
So the week I had to facilitate your fellowship, but years before you got there.
Yeah.
So it was virtual, so it worked out. I wasn't infecting anybody, but
Right.
I still have not recovered from that bout of
Mm.
COVID. So the energy level, the pace at which I can execute my words, as
Yep.
someone that's been a speaker for his whole life, to have to struggle to grasp words and to
Yep.
have the language, that's so difficult for me. But it's also created an element within myself where I used to be such a perfectionist. I still, to a degree, am, but I know I can't, for the work that I want to accomplish, for the person that I want to be, I know I can't let that get in the way. And
Yeah.
so I give what I have to give, and I've stopped
Yeah.
doing things that are out of alignment with who I am as a person.
Hmm.
And COVID really gave me that opportunity. That to really reevaluate a lot of priorities.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I was in a position where, financially I was stable, but emotionally, and I lost family members and friends and all of that. I recognized how fragile I really, really, really was. And
Ooh.
so that just kind of reinforced all these other practices.
Yeah. That's I think not a lot of people think about how COVID has impacted them at post infection. But to your point, like the fatigue, like I have these body, like I have chronic pain. I'm like, when did I start having chronic pain? Like my body's just chronically in pain. Um, the fatigue, and then the speech. I remember trying to talk to some friends, and as they were speaking, all I could say was like, "Oh my God, that sounds like word salad." For a minute there, it felt like I was losing my ability to understand and process information, and then speak myself. So that's kind of been my invitation because for me, I've always won by the stereotype. I'm strong. I got to get it done. I got to do me. And then COVID was like, yeah, no, we're gonna teach you how to slow down and take care of yourself. So thank you for sharing that, Will. What's one or two things that you like to do for fun?
Oh, goodness. So karaoke
Mm.
is probably, well, I would say it's tied with laser tag at number one.
Fun, fun. Oh my gosh, I would not go. I would be on your team now that I know that you like laser tag.
Yeah, I love it. And I have a lot of strategies to win. And so if you're on my team, it's almost a guarantee that you're going to come out on top.
That's hilarious. What was the last time you did it? Went laser tagging?
Sadly, it's been about 7 or 8 years. Yeah, I want to say 2018. So I need to get out there and get back to laser
Yeah, you
tag.
need to get back out there. I know we took my son about 3 years ago over in I think it's over in Summerlin somewhere, and he had a great
That's where I
time.
went. Yep, the one in Summerlin.
Oh, okay. Oh God, that's been there for a long time then.
Yeah, yeah. But that's my fun. But also, I find fun in so many things. Like for me, this is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love having conversations, and I love just being who I am.
Hmm.
So like day to day for me, it's fun. I love the hike. Well, let me kind of be more specific. I love to go to trails that have a slight incline.
There you go.
So that's with lots of nature around. So I love that's fun for me. Um, Also people watching. So I will go to the Las Vegas Strip and sit and just watch and be so amused. And I'll be making up stories about people as they go by, and
Oh my God,
yeah,
that's
it's the whole
hilarious.
thing. Yeah,
That's hilarious. You said people watching at the
people
strip.
watching at the Strip.
Sometimes I like to go to Fremont Street and just say like, huh, interesting. So I get it.
Now Fremont, that's a whole nother level. Yeah,
Yeah, it's something else. You see some stuff and just be like, is this normal? Like, I don't even know if normal exists anymore. We're just like, huh, interesting.
Yeah. No, there's nothing normal on Fremont Street. Nothing.
Mm, wild. Well, if you could leave like a word, a thought for folks who are watching and maybe navigating a hard time right now or not finding time to take care of themselves, any word that might be resonant, what would you leave people with today?
Mm. I would say compassion is the word.
Mm,
And not in the fluffy sense, not in the woo-woo sense, but in the very real, meaningful sense of alleviating the suffering in the world
mm,
and extending the care that you give to others to yourself is the number one most powerful compassion practice there is. So include yourself in the love you give, and you'll be able to love more fully.
wow, that was so good. I'm gonna listen to that again because I was just like, man, include yourself in the love that you give to others. So many times I know for me I've abandoned myself. So that's really sticking with me. Thank you, Will.
Thank you for this opportunity and for the conversation and for continuing to show up. I love you with my whole heart. And not only that, I am loved for you. I admire you. I'm inspired by you. And I honor the essence that you are.
Thank you, Will. I see you, Ubuntu to you, and so grateful to receive those words. So thank you. All right, friends. Well, maybe you'll see Will again. Who knows? Maybe we did talk about the Heal Your Way Forward podcast, so that's coming back here later in the spring. But thank you all for watching today. Will, thank you for being with us. And friends, I will see you in a couple of days.